There's a huge battle brewing in the tech world right now, and it's all about how we understand people. At the very center of it all is AI. So, is it this incredible new tool for researchers, or is it something that could threaten the very heart of what they do? Let's get into it. And yeah, this is really the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is AI a powerful partner that's going to supercharge our skills, or is it a technology that's basically coming for our jobs? This is the core conflict we're going to unpack. Okay, so to really get what's at stake here, we have to start with the basics. What are we even talking about? What's the fundamental value of having a human, an expert, lead the research? At its heart, human-centered research is really all about connection. It's not just about collecting data points. It's about a skilled expert digging in to understand the why behind what people say and do. It's about taking those little, nuanced observations and turning them into big insights that can literally make or break a new product. Wow, this quote just absolutely nails the fear, doesn't it? The whole argument is that the second we start pulling the human expert out of that process, for the sake of speed or what we're calling innovation, we actually start to devalue the entire practice. We start pushing it toward being completely irrelevant. Just think for a second about how these AI models actually work. They are built to recognize patterns across massive, massive amounts of data, and that's super powerful. But when you try to apply that to the messiness of human experience, the absolute best it can do is find the average. And let's be honest, average is the enemy of real innovation. You lose all those unique, weird outlier insights that give a company its real competitive edge. Of course, this big push for AI isn't just happening in a bubble. There are some really compelling arguments being made for it, and they mostly circle around speed and efficiency. So let's take a closer look and deconstruct those arguments one by one. You hear this one all the time, right? It's probably the number one argument. Stakeholders have these crazy tight deadlines, and the feeling is that deep, human-led research is a bottleneck. The business just has to move faster. But here's the counter-argument, and it totally flips this on its head. It suggests that maybe the problem isn't the research itself, but the planning within the organization. I mean, if a team is constantly, consistently failing to build in time to understand its users, that points to a much deeper issue, right? It might mean they don't actually value research in the first place. And then we have the big one, the buzzword of the decade, 10x efficiency. It's the ultimate promise of tech, right? That we can do 10 times the work in the exact same amount of time. And yeah, AI research tools are being sold with this exact pitch. But here's the hidden danger in all that so-called efficiency. When a researcher uses an AI tool to instantly summarize all their findings, they are maybe unintentionally sending a message. And that message is, hey, anyone with this tool can do my job. It makes their hard-earned skills seem totally dispensable, and it reinforces this really dangerous idea that quality research doesn't actually require any real time or talent. Okay, so this is the compromise everyone talks about. We're told we can have the best of both worlds. Just let the AI do all the heavy lifting, and then have a human expert come in and check its work at the end. I mean, it sounds pretty reasonable on the surface. But if you really think about it, that logic is fundamentally backward. Quality research is already a human-to-human loop. It's a researcher connecting with a participant, so if you introduce an automated, often inaccurate AI process in the middle, and then ask a human to come in and fix all its mistakes, that's not an upgrade. That's just adding an inefficient quality control step to a system that you just broke. So if these arguments for efficiency are kind of shaky, what is driving this massive push? Well, for the next step, we've got to do what you always do, follow the money. Let's look at the gap between the marketing hype and the reality on the ground. Get ready for this number, because it is staggering. At a major conference for user researchers, a full 80%, that's 4 out of every 5 sponsors, were selling products designed to replace the very people in the audience. That just screams that there's a massive commercial incentive to change the conversation from let's help experts to let's replace them. And this chart really lays out that conflict perfectly. On one side, you have the glossy marketing promise. It democratizes research. It gives you faster, cheaper insights. But then you look at the professional reality on the other side, and it's the devaluation of expertise, generic, average results, and a hidden goal of replacing the researcher. And why? Well, it's a lot more profitable to sell a tool to every single employee in a company than it is to just a small team of specialists. Oof. That is a powerful statement. It just completely reframes the whole relationship. The idea here is that these tools aren't being sold for researchers. They're being sold through them. They're using the researchers' credibility to get a foot in the door at big organizations, with the real end goal of making that researcher's role obsolete. And to build up all this momentum, some pretty questionable tactics are being rolled out. We're seeing influencers promoting these tools without ever disclosing that they're being paid to do it. And that creates this false illusion that all the top experts are adopting these things. Not only is that ethically murky, but in some cases, it can actually violate FTC regulations. So, given all this pressure, from marketing, from management, from just the tech world in general, where is a professional supposed to draw the line? That brings us to our final section, figuring out where that red line should be. Now, this is a really, really important clarification. The argument we're exploring isn't some blanket rejection of all technology. It's not about being anti-AI. It's about being pro-human expertise. It's a defense of the unique, irreplaceable value of human curiosity and our ability to make those meaningful connections. Because let's be real, AI can be an incredible assistant when you use it the right way. I mean, think about it. For all the tedious stuff, transcribing hours and hours of interviews, organizing notes, it can be a great partner for generating code or creating assets for prototypes. And here's a really smart idea. You can ask an AI to play devil's advocate, do a dissent pass where the tool actively tries to challenge your findings. That can make your final analysis even stronger. See, these are all ways to help the researcher, not replace them. You know, that comparison to the Luddites is fascinating. People think they were just anti-technology, but that's not the real story. They were skilled workers protesting automation that was eliminating their jobs, lowering their wages, and reducing quality, all just to benefit the factory owners. The parallel here is that this is a pro-worker, pro-quality stance, not an anti-progress one. Which brings us right to the core thesis. In a game where adopting certain tools seems to prove that your own expertise is worthless, the argument is that the only winning move is to refuse to play. It's a call for professionals to stand up, advocate for their own value, and not give away the very tasks that define their craft. And that leaves us with this final, really critical question. For every single professional watching this, where do you draw that line? The line between a helpful tool and a tool that actively undermines your value. It's a personal decision, and it's a professional one, but it's a decision that might just define the future of this entire field. So, what is your red line?